Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's me, Double D, and today I'm looking at the iSet compressor. It's a pretty yellow with a sandwich on it that's, compressed. It's a smushed sandwich. You take everything, kind of smush it all together. You can use a compressor in a bunch of different ways, and I think I'm going to try to do that in this video, just kind of show you a couple of different ways that I use a compressor. This one is really easy. It has two settings. It has the beverage, the compression level that you would like along with your sandwich. Would you like a half pint or a full pint? And when it's in the bottom, you get half the amount of compression than when it's in the top. So you can hear it's really squeezing stuff in. And then depending on how you apply that, that's going to give you more sustain or more squish or more sheen, and you can really quickly overdo it in that setting and really get, real ducky and the country vibe going on if that's what you're looking for. So hopefully you could hear there towards the end how when I had the compressor on, it was helping the guitar sustain, kind of keep on going, especially with that sensitivity up. What it's trying to do is take all the frequencies that it's getting and it's going to continually raise them. And if you got a full pint, it's going to really try to raise them to the top of that glass. Half pint, it's only going to try to put it up to a certain point before it kind of lets it go. So that's the concept behind this compressor. The cool thing is that it has a tone knob, which can help you, as you heard there, as I start to really lay into the compression and start to hit the front of the amp a little harder, it starts to get louder and louder and maybe a little brighter and brighter. So you can tame it there with the tone knob. You can also use the volume knob to either boost that amp a little bit more and send it more into a driven state, like a booster, but just differently. I personally like having a compressor on almost all the time for all of my main patches. On my gigging board, I have that here at my feet, and I have some of these iSet pedals integrated into that, and I'm just kind of using it with some of the sounds that I like. So here's just a very mild drive. This is before this compressor. So you can see there when I have the volume down past noon, like around the 9 to 10 o'clock range, it's kind of dropping the level. But the compressor itself then starts to work, and it doesn't let your guitar signal die the way that it might if you were to use a booster and bring that down. It's going to kind of keep on pushing that. So you can have that on for rhythm. And if you really like your amp sound, if you really like the way that one channel or that one drive pedal sounds, put this in there somewhere. Right now, this would be after a particular drive. That's not how I generally use it. I like to use a compressor always on, but a little bit louder, just a touch of a boost, and then I run it before a distortion or a gain, and I kind of just have it hit the front of that gain pedal just a little bit more. You know what I mean? It just kind of helps you kind of give that gain a little more juice when you want it, and then you can turn it off if you really feel like it's a little too much, and you can step it back. It's kind of like adding a channel in a certain way to a gain pedal. It's like adding a little bit of grit without getting dirty. You know, it does something a little bit different than a booster, a little bit different than an overdrive, and it helps to cleanly feed that guitar signal back into whatever it is then hitting. In that case, it was coming after a distortion pedal and going into the preamp and just kind of leveling things out to however I assigned it. Let's try it into an overdrive pedal. We're going to use the iSet OD pedal, which I should have a video link if I can remember. I'll put a card right up there. Using it as a gain stage like that, using the kind of fine-tuning the difference between the sensitivity or the amount of compression, also then the amount of the pint, the amount of your beverage to go along with the compression. Doing that and then fine-tuning that level, you can get a nice boost. You heard there as I started to drive everything even just a little bit harder. When I turned it off, everything just kind of dies down. So that's the compressor squishing stuff. It's trying to regenerate itself back out a little bit more and not just slam the output of the next pedal if you don't want to, and not necessarily having to rely on that extra boost from the pedal to keep sustain the way that a boost pedal kind of would. This, you can dial it back and then dial in some sustain, or you can really juice it up, turn it on when you want a lead boost and really get that juicy kind of saturation, either before or after a overdrive pedal. It seems to really give a good bit of boost, volume boost. And in front of an overdrive, it's really going to help drive that gain section a little bit more, make it a little more chewy, a little more responsive. Your fingers, you can feel your fingers really hitting the strings when you use a compressor right. If for $23 or $24, If you haven't had a compressor, this is a great entry level or pro level if you're looking to save some space, kind of a compressor. It adds a little bit of hiss as you start to really dial up all the sensitivity and the levels, but that's any compressor. Almost every compressor I have, that's inherent to the design. So a nice noise gate somewhere in the line there will help that. We'll go over that in the next video here from iSet, but I just wanted to show you how a compressor can also make effects kind of a little more snappy. You heard when I turned the delays on, some of those delays. When I turned the compressor off, those delays, just like the guitar, all kind of went away. Let's say I were to turn an acoustic simulator pedal on here. Also, another iSet pedal. Let's say I had that going right now. And I have the compressor after the acoustic. What it's going to do is kind of help add a little studio sheen, a little sparkle, a little spanking. It's going to help drop it in the immediate attack. After I strike the strings, it's still going to let me hear it, but then kind of duck it down just a little bit. These pedals are really enjoyable. I have a blast every time I sit down and start messing with one. I love stacking them, using them together, seeing what we can get. We had a little slap back going from their delay, so I still have to look at that, and I'm going to look at the noise gate coming up here really soon. And as well, we have a booster from iSet that's going to be coming up soon. So if you've been enjoying my look into these iSet pedals, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you for being here. Thank you, iSet, for sending these along. They haven't paid me to say anything about these pedals. They haven't asked me to say anything in particular. They just asked me to give some impressions of what I thought of the pedals. And so far, I've been able to sit down, tweak each one of these very budget-friendly pedals and find good usable tones. This is a nice, quiet compressor. Thank you, iSet, again, for sending these pedals over. I appreciate it. It's me, Double D. Thanks for being here.